36-14. Was it the bloodbath that we all wanted? No. Was it a win over an in-state rival? Yes. Was it Mario Cristobal's first win over Florida State? Yes. Am I happy? Yeah. I mean, like, listen, we could be having a totally different conversation right now. It could be an L, you know? And was this game close? Absolutely not. This is a 22-point win. This is beating Florida State by more than Clemson. Whatever, that doesn't necessarily matter to me, but whatever weight, you put into that. And we did beat them by more than all of our other ACC games combined. Virginia Tech 38-34, that's 4 points. Cal 39-38, quick math, 1 point. Louisville 52-45, 7. That is a grand total of 12 points. We beat Florida State by 22. I wanted to take a few minutes before I actually filmed this quick recap and reaction because I wanted to think about what all happened in this game. And I sat down and asked myself, Coop, why are you not celebrating more? Why are you not running to Taco Bell and getting a cheesy gordita crunch with extra cheese and a cheesy roll-up and cinnamon twist and a large Mountain Dew? Why is it not that type of victory? I think it's just because it wasn't the fireworks show from Cam Ward that we were used to. We got spoiled a bit, basically. Even though those other ACC games were more cardiac canes, which was not the case. Miami was in control for this entire game. They never lost the lead. Miami came out, marched down the field, set the tone, and I think maybe that also got us a little extra hype. All week we said this is going to be a blowout. Man, we're going to, that 45-3 that happened in the past, yeah, right, let's go 70-0. We kind of had that mindset going into this, and when Miami got the ball, first possession, and marched right down the field and did exactly what they wanted to do, we said, here we go. Oh, buddy, this team's about to eat. Buckle up, Florida State fans. Okay, another possession, nothing. Another possession, nothing. We go into halftime. It's only 17-7. Florida State could strike at any moment. Except they couldn't because they got a garbage time touchdown and they had the one crazy run from Luke, which, by the way, who were they going to play? Was it going to be Brock Glenn? Was it going to be this Luke kid, the true freshman? They start out with Glenn. They throw a curveball. They put Luke in. Florida State should stick with Luke. That's the future right there. That guy, they need to just stick with him. They had the one big crazy run with him, with the quarterback, not Toafili, not anyone else, the quarterback, where the offensive lineman basically held him up by his shoulders, set him a yard in front of him, and then he took off. And that set them up on that drive. And, bro, that's it. That's it. If I would have told, and look, I get it. All the circumstances around it matter. Not everything carries over from season to season. But if I would have told you last year that we were going to beat Florida State, which we only lost by 7, remember, by 22 in 2024, you would have said, I'll take that. Yeah, I'd like to know some of the other stats, but yeah, I'll take that. 22 over an in-state rival that I know they've only won one football game. But you would probably take that. They have some moral victories they can walk away with this one, but do not let them dangle that over your head, and I'll tell you why. Are they not always saying moral gables? Are they not always saying, hey, we beat you, little moral victories, you guys did it? They're gonna bark because they're gonna say they held Cam Ward to under 300 passing yards for the first time as a Miami Hurricane. Man, dude, bro. Man, you missed the game-winning field goal that got blocked. He didn't miss it, it got blocked. And freaking SMU. Manny. Whatever. Anyways, back to the game that matters here. Miami versus Florida State. They're going to try to say they held Cam Ward to under 300, and they did. He threw 0 passing touchdowns, threw for 208 yards. But what is funny, he couldn't throw for a touchdown tonight, but he caught one. They did the little play where they hand it off to Martinez. Martinez tosses it to Arroyo. Apparently Arroyo's a lefty, and he hits Cam Ward, and he runs it in for a touchdown. So that was pretty cool to see. It's just, I know the vibes are weird. Like, I fully understand it. I was very conflicted during the stream because half the stream said, Coop, I'm pissed. We were supposed to put a 50 burger on these guys. Hey, forget conference championship playoffs. Like, we're going to get crushed if we make it to that level. Then you have the other side over here that says, yeah, Florida State was only 1-6, but they got up for this game, and we still won by 22. It wasn't like it was close, because it wasn't. Miami won in pretty much every category with the stats. And Florida State reeked of desperation. They went for it on 4th down 7 times. Why? Mike Norvell ain't a dummy. He knew that they had to try to put up points. They had to take chances. And he knew they had to keep the ball out of Cam Ward's hands, even though he might not have played the best game. But some of it is also on the receivers, and some of it is giving Florida State's DBs some credit because they had them on lockdown. There was not a ton of separation. They brought a lot of pressure. Heck, they sacked Cam Ward, 3 times in the first half? And we were struggling to get to their quarterback for a lot of the game. So I have to give Florida State a little bit of credit, in that department. But it just wasn't the bloodbath that we hyped it up to be. And that's just facts. And that's okay because we're still 8-0 and we're still undefeated. That's not some kind of, people are like, yeah, the moral victory. Bro, we won. We won the game. Again, we're going to nitpick it. What I will say, because I'm trying to mention some positives, and we can also talk about the negatives. Cam Ward didn't play his best game. Receivers couldn't get open, but you want to know a bright spot? Even with all of that being said, we were able to lean on the run game and rush for 230 yards. We were able to ground and pound, and we were still able to get it done. Martinez ran for 148. Fletcher for 71. So even if the passing game is not there, which is what's been what Miami's bread and butter, they were still able to get the win. So it's hard to say like this is an ugly win. Like, I'll just ask, is this an ugly win? What do you think? Would you label this as an ugly win, 36-14 over Florida State? Luke threw for 61 yards and Brock Glenn threw for 54. They combined for 115. What was more so frustrating for me is they rushed for 133, and they were averaging 73 per game going into this. I am disappointed in several areas with Miami because even though we knew that they gave their advantage to their DBs, I came on here and said it doesn't matter because Miami has so much firepower offensively. We've got Cam Ward. We've got, big play receivers. It won't matter. Well, it did. It did. I had a win by 38. I had 48-10. Not super far off, but I gave Miami more credit, really, than they deserved, I guess, going into this game. But I personally would not say this is an ugly win. An ugly win is more so kind of Cardiac Kane style, in my opinion, where you have to, come back or it's too close for comfort. Again, Miami was in the lead the entire game. Miami still can't tackle to save their lives. Of course, the secondary is a major concern. You would like to hope that if Miami plays, more complete teams, that you hope they don't have an off day offensively, that they're able to get the job done. But they got the win, man. Won a time of possession. Penalties were still far too many, but 8 of 14 on 3rd downs, 3 of 3 on 4th downs. And I'm proud of Mario Cristobal. Let me tell you, because when Miami was up 29-7 in the 4th, with what was it, like 3 or 4 minutes left? Don't quote me on it, but something like that. Old Mario Cristobal would have been content with running the ball up the gut over and over again and then either punting, knowing it was too much for Florida State to overcome, or just running the clock out. He would not have pushed to try to score there and get it in the end zone. But he said, no. There's lots of recruits here, like 100 plus, and I want revenge. I want this win to be bigger, and I appreciate him for keeping his foot on the gas and scoring to make it 36-7. Now, I am mad about the garbage time touchdown. Yeah, 36-7 sounds a lot better than 36-14, giving up that late stinking touchdown, man. But I don't think you can really walk away from this and say that you're just super upset. Like, you critique it. Talk about the bad things that Miami did. We had to settle for field goals, couldn't tackle. They ran for more yards on us than they've been averaging, really almost double what they've been averaging. They brought a true freshman quarterback in there, and he was throwing at times, only had 61 yards, but we weren't really able to get pressure on him. We finally ended the game, I think, with 3 or 4 sacks. We can look in a minute. But the O-line, too, for Miami, even though we were able to run the ball and rack up over 200 yards, again, they were getting pressure on Cam. And they were struggling, man. There were multiple times. There were guys going back. Man, it was, hey, going back, man, and putting hands on nobody. Literally nobody. And I know they would bring a lot of guys sometimes. They'd bring 5, 6, 7. And Cam Ward had no time. So even if there was some kind of mismatch deep or, something quick he could throw at somebody, he either didn't have time or then that was frustrating. It was frustrating. But 36-14, we wanted more. We wanted more, and I really actually want you to sit back for just a moment on this Saturday night, early Sunday morning, and I want you to think about the fact that we're 8-0, undefeated, and the narrative will be that Miami has been exposed and Miami is a bunch of frauds just because we weren't able to do what we had been doing in the way we had been doing it going into this game. Miami had to adjust, play a little bit different style of football than what we're used to. Cam Ward was frustrated. He busted the iPad on the ground, or the Surface, Microsoft Surface, the tablet. There were times he didn't want to settle for 3. He wanted touchdowns. That's what he's used to doing. People are going to try to spin that because everyone's waiting for Miami to fail, but the reality is we didn't play a close game and then lose it. We didn't even play a close game and win it. We won it by 22. Should it have been more? Yes. Could Miami have played way better than they did? Yes. Is Florida State still an inferior opponent? Absolutely. They're not a good football team. Don't come in there and say, Coop, Florida State's actually a little bit better than I expected. No, they're not good. There's a reason why they won one game. You can look at teams on our schedule and say, you know what, Virginia Tech, they're better than their schedule says they are. Louisville, they got a high-powered offense. They're a little better than their schedule says they are. Florida State was 1-6 coming into this game, now 1-7. They are not better than what their record is. They are 1-7 for a reason. So I'm not going to sit on here and entertain that Florida State is good because they're not. So see, I'm not going to make excuses for Miami. I'm not going to do that. But I am trying to tell myself, Coop, you hyped yourself up for this to be a bloodbath. And it was only 22. But that ain't horrible. It's actually, like, think of it this way. It's kind of this sounds backwards, but bear with me. It shows the positive progress and how far we've come in year 3 that we are pissed that we only beat Florida State by 22. Don't even look at the record. I'm just talking about the fact that last year we were like, bro, if we could come back and drive down the field with Emory before he broke his arm and maybe go for 2 and win by 1 at Doak. Oh my, no! We just won by 22 at Hard Rock and we're mad. Well, because the bar is high. Like there's a new standard in town. Right? So it's kind of a good thing. We're showing that we've made progress and we're expecting Miami to win by more and take care of business. There are a lot more things that I want to touch on and talk about with this game. Obviously, this is initial reaction and recap, so I don't do a super deep dive. We'll do that. We can talk more about it on Sunday. But we kind of covered most of the stats, honestly. Would still like to get more tight ends involved. I think Arroyo was the only one. Had 2 catches. Horton had the most, 6 for 65. They had Restrepo on lot, but he had 4 for 24. Still, pretty much most of the complaints are on defense, but Florida State did their thing and really stopped what Miami likes to do, which was big explosive plays through the air, so we just weren't able to make that happen. So Miami pivoted to focusing on the run, and it was successful. And when you run the ball more, not necessarily always big explosive plays, eats up a lot of clock, less time to score, you just don't score as many points. Not as fun to watch for most people, myself included. But 36-14. But speak your mind. Come on. Let's talk about it. If we want to talk about frauds and we want to talk about, bad teams, you need to call this man right here. Because I'll take 8-0 over 1-7 all day, every day. I don't care what Ohio State fans say, Georgia fans say, Bama fans say. But it's irrelevant to me. My team's 8-0.